Hello, this is another workshop, a part of our AI at New York Tech series, and this one's entitled Transforming Teaching, Research, and Administrative Systems. So, for today's agenda, we're going to do an overview of AI. We're going to discuss digital fluency versus AI fluency. We'll look at a couple of tools that are AI in teaching and learning, as well as the impact of AI in research and the AI in support of administrative operations. And then we'll discuss ethical and security considerations, as well as case studies. So we're going to discuss two different types of AIs, traditional AI as well as generative AI and large language models. So traditional AI refers to systems that are designed to perform specific tasks. So these have the predefined rules and data sets. They cannot create new content. Two great examples of this is chatbots, which programs are designed to simulate conversation with human users. If you ever log onto a website and try to get some help and support, you may be speaking to a virtual assistant or a chatbot. And then there's virtual assistants, which is the software agents that users assist users with various tasks. So this is the Siri's, the Bixby's, Google, Alexa, and they are allowed to do the most that they can do that they have been trained on, but they do not create necessarily new information. Now, with generative AI and large language models, this is where it got interesting for the world in general, but particularly education. So Gen AI and large language models are the systems that are capable of generating new content. So these are the ones that you put in the data sets, you put in the prompts, and it often utilizes deep learning techniques to spit out new content for you. Some of the main examples that we wanted to kind of just use as examples would be ChatGPT as well as DALL-E. So these are both created by OpenAI. Google has Gemini, which was formerly known as Bard. Microsoft does Bing AI as well as Copilot. And then Google actually has a new AI tool in their Vlogger software, which is it takes a image to a talking video, so you can make a talking video from an image. And then there's Claude, which is it processes large amounts of information, and Claude is actually coming up in speed with the education realm. So a lot of educators are starting to use Claude more than ChatGPT. So here's a nice visual of what are exactly where artificial intelligence lives within the data science field. So data science is at the very bottom. So this is the all things encompass data science. It's a cross-disciplinary field that seeks to extract value from data. Then you have the deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning, which is artificial neural networks. So this is where the new prompts, the new information is created. The machine learning is the algorithms where you actually put in the data and it spits out based on what it knows on the data sets that has been trained on, but it does not necessarily create new information. And then there's artificial intelligence, which makes this is the programs with the ability to learn and reason like humans. So, what is digital fluency? So, digital fluency is the ability to discover, evaluate, and use information technology effectively and ethically. So, this is how we know what information in the digital world on websites, on articles that we're reading, that are accurate. So, it comes with three different subheadings. So, there's digital capabilities. So, this is being able to digitally adapt and innovate, confidentially choose and use digital tools to learn, create, and share. So this is how you know what tools to use for what process. There's also the digital principles. So this is the ethical, being respectful, as well as a responsible digital citizen. This is making sure that you're using these tools ethically, respectfully, and responsibly. And then there's digital literacy. So this is being discerning and critical. So able to locate, understand, organize, evaluate, and adapt digital content. So this is how you use the content and being able to understand how you use the content in different settings. So how does digital fluency and AI work together? So digital fluency gives us the tools to search, evaluate, and manage the volume of information to which we are exposed. AI uses algorithmically powered technologies and understand generally how they produce the answer. So you understand basically if you put this information into an AI tool, it will spit out this information. and you understand the machine and data behind the AI. So you don't just use the tool just willy-nilly, but you understand the machine learning and as well as the data behind the actual AI tool. AI fluency is a step above digital literacy and digital fluency. So, AI fluency implies that there's a seamless integration of AI tools into daily tasks, solving complex and challenges as fostering innovative and unprecedented ways. So, this is being able to use AI tools in your everyday life, in your daily life, as well as your teaching and learning. What's really interesting is this is actually creating a new digital divide. So the original digital divide was those that used technology in their teaching and those that did not. Now we're actually seeing a new digital divide of those who are fluent in AI and utilizing it in their teaching and those who are not. So it's going to be very interesting to see in the next year, 2 years, 5 years down the road to see where these tools are going to land and where this digital divide and how grand this digital divide is going to be. So why is AI fluency important? So what's really interesting is the Pew Research actually did a survey where they asked 10,000 adults which of the 6 examples of technology they thought were powered by AI. These tools included smartwatches, chatbots, security cameras, and email services. What's crazy, what's like very eye-opening is that only 30% of those surveyed knew AI powered all 6 examples. This to me shows that there's a lot of people who are using a lot of AI tools that actually do not understand that the AI is powering that tool. What's interesting is the same study found that only 27% of Americans say they interact with AI at least several times a day. But we know based on the amount of technology that uses AI, like smartphones and smartwatches, the number is likely to be higher, especially that I read a study that 46% of Americans have a smartwatch. Well, if 46% of Americans have a smartwatch, and we've already established that smartwatch is powered by AI, that means that this number is much larger than is expected or and is known. IBM actually did a study also in 2022 that found 35% of organizations reported that they were looking into artificial intelligence technology, and 42% said they were looking into AI and its benefits. I imagine the last 2 years that this has skyrocketed because of the impact that artificial intelligence technology has had on the business world, as well as marketing and sales, that it's just made the jobs efficient and the administrative components more efficient, which we all know businesses like to save money and make money. So if they can find a tool that does both, perfect. So for AI in teaching and learning, so there's 4 different ways that you can use it. So there's the intelligent tutoring systems, personalized learning paths. So this means that you can tailor learning experiences to individual student needs and preferences. Adaptive learning platforms. So this is it adjusts the content and pacing based on student performance and mastery. So based on how the student is responding to the questions, it provides them a more of a even flow of pacing with where meeting them where they are in order to master the content. And there's also AI tools that aid educators in creating engaging and effective lesson plans. I know that oftentimes we all love to create lesson plans, but there's times that we actually, are feel stuck and feel like we are not having the best ideas for the lesson plans. There's actually AI tools out there to help educators create more engaging and effective lesson plans. Some of the notable AI tools for teaching and learning, and these are just a few that are out there. There's a plethora that have been created since this recording, as well as probably since this morning. So Canvas does have AI enhanced features. Turnitin is a plagiarism detection and feedback tool that we use. Education Copilot is an AI-powered virtual teaching assistant. Diffit is an adaptive learning platform for math education. There's actually a lot of AI tools for math education. And Conquer AI is an AI-driven content creation and curation platform. So it's out there to help faculty as well as teachers create content and curate the content once it's been created. Additional tools is we have the Microsoft Reader Check. So this is an AI tool assessing reading comprehension. Quizlet is actually a really cool AI-powered study tool. So it is one of those tools that, based on how the student is responding to the questions, it shows them different questions and gets them into the mastery level of the content. Duolingo is a language learning platform. So based on, once again, adaptive learning. So once, depending on how the individual is answering it, they will show different content. Grammarly has a writing assistant that uses AI for grammar and style suggestions. And smartboards actually have interactive whiteboards with AI enhanced features. AI in research. So AI accelerates scientific discovery and enhances research processes. And it does this in a couple of ways, but two ways that I would like to show is just, in automated literature reviews. So there's actually AI tools to analyze vast amounts of literature to extract insights and identify trends. So no longer researchers have to spend hours and months and years doing the automated, the literature reviews. There are AI tools that are able to do that for you. Data analysis and visualizations. So AI algorithms also process and visualize data in complex data sets, enabling researchers to gain deeper insights. So they are doing the back end work for the researchers. So the researchers can focus on what exactly the data is saying. So some notable AI tools for research. So there's LitMaps. So this is an AI-powered research discovery platform. Scholarcy, which is an AI tool for summarizing academic papers. Cite AI is an AI platform that for citation analysis and context. Elicit is an AI-driven data analysis and visualization tool. And then there's Tableau, which you might be familiar with, and it's a data visualization software with an AI integration. More examples of just the vast tools that are available for research is Medley, which is a reference management tool with AI recommendations. So based on the references you're using in your report, it might recommend other ones that have been cited with the ones that you are citing. Zotero, which is an AI-enabled research organization citation tool. WordVice AI is a AI-powered academic editing and proofreading service. So this is also, instead of bugging your colleagues to read your papers, you can actually utilize it as a proofreading service. There's Typeset.io, which is an AI-driven manuscript formatting tool, so to ensure that your formatting is accurate. And then there's Quillbot, which is an AI-based paraphrasing tool for researchers. So AI support and administrative operations. So what's really great about AI is it has solutions to optimize administrative tasks and streamline operations. You could do this by implementing AI solutions that enhance efficiency and decision-making processes. And identifying opportunities for AI development and integration is crucial for institutional success. So we have 3 tools in Workday: Prism Analytics, Adaptive Insights, and Workday Assistant, which are all AI-powered driven tools. Zoom has AI Companion, which provides meeting summaries and other insights within Zoom. Microsoft Azure AI is a suite of AI services for various administrative tasks. Slate also has 3 different varieties. So we have workflow automation, predictive modeling, as well as analytics. Power Platform is a low-code platform with AI capabilities for app development. And Office Editor and Presenter Coach is an AI powered tools for document editing as well as presentation coaching. And we're actually providing training on the presenting coaching. Okay, so ethical considerations. So you want to ensure there's transparency and accountability within the tool. So you want to have openness in the AI decision-making process. You also want ethical use in grading. So you want fair and unbiased application of AI in a student evaluation. So you want to make sure that it is being fair with the grading aspect if you're going to be using some of these AI tools in your classroom. You want to establish guidelines. So this is not only for your classroom, but also for your research projects. You want to develop ethical guidelines for AI-powered research projects. So this could also be understanding the journal or the article or the publisher that you are using. What are their ethical guidelines for using AI tools in your research? And there's also the unconscious bias component. So humans create the algorithms and inadvertently add their own biases within the data sets. So you want to be mindful that there is a potential bias that is in your data set that you would like to be mindful of and not create a blind spot to. So recognizing and mitigating bias in AI. So we just mentioned it, but unconscious bias refers to the prejudices or stereotypes that affect individuals' judgments and decision making unconsciously. So the application of this in AI, so AI algorithms can unintentionally perpetuate bias presented in the training data or biases of the developers. So two major examples of this is the facial recognition algorithms showing racial bias, misidentifying individuals with darker skin tones more frequently, and then hiring algorithms favoring candidates from certain demographics or educational backgrounds. The consequences can be reinforces societal inequalities, perpetuates discrimination, and undermines the fairness and reliability of AI systems. So, in order to address the bias, you want a diverse data collection. So, you want to ensure training data represents a wide range of demographics and perspectives. So, you want as little blind spots as you can with your data. You also want to do algorithm audits, regularly assess AI systems for biases and adjust as needed. And you want to do, if you are developing a tool, you want to inclusive development. So you want to foster diversity among AI developers and stakeholders to minimize blind spots. One of the things that we want to be very mindful of is the information that we're putting into the AI tools. So we do have at New York Tech, we do have a data classification matrix, which is a really great tool to discuss what is public data, restricted data, as well as confidential data. So public data is press releases, course information, and research publications. So this is data that you could probably find elsewhere on the interwebs as well as Google and on our website. And then there's confidential data. So confidential data is data protected by the state or federal privacy regulations. So you can think about this as HIPAA and FERPA, as well as data protected by confidential agreements. So this is social security numbers, maybe home addresses, additional data information. And you never want to put this information into an AI tool because that allows a security risk and then allows other people's information to be sent elsewhere and used on the dark web. Restricted data is all institutional data that is not explicitly classified as confidential or public, but should be treated as restricted data. So this is the gray area of our data, right? So we want to take a step back and think about the purpose of utilizing this AI tool with this data. So this data we'll go through this a little bit further, but this data you may have to actually scrub of any identifier information as well as make it more anonymous in order for it to be used in a AI tool. Or you may want to not even include this type of data in an AI tool even after removing all of the identifiers that you can. So there's a data privacy paradigm. So the ChatGPT and other our large language models are trained on data sets from the public data as well as user prompts. So the large language models learn from user interactions, which magnifying the risk of leaked information being used for nefarious reasons. So what you're putting into the tool is learning from. One of the core challenges posed by generative AI right now is unlike conventional applications, large language models have no delete button from the consumer side. The delete button comes from the application and the software developer side only. There's also no straightforward mechanism to unlearn specific information and no equivalent to deleting a row in your database's user table. So if you thought you cleaned and scrubbed your data, and then all of a sudden you see that you put people's username and passwords were in there, there's no way of saying, oh, just kidding, I want you to delete just those informations. So it's it's very important to be very mindful of what data that you're actually putting into these softwares because we do not want to have any risk issues or any leaked information getting tied back to the use of this tool. One of the things that you can do is you can actually ask the software companies for a privacy statement or how do they use their tools. We'll give you some questions at the end to ask them. But this is an example of one that we received when I went to the software company and said, "Hey, talk to me about your data retention for your tool." And it says our AI, developed and maintained by OpenAI, so that is the tool that created ChatGPT, does not retain personal information from users' interactions. Perfect. It does not retain it. It's not being kept on a cloud server, on a actual server, or somebody's not writing it down and throwing it into a file cabinet. It also says that in line with privacy and data protection best practices, the information is provided during interactions is processed to generate responses and is not stored after the conversation ends. So once again, they're not retaining any personal information and they're not storing the conversation after it ends. Perfect. So we prioritize our user privacy, ensuring that conversations are confidential and not used for any purpose beyond providing immediate responses. Great. So now they're showing us that their tool is not learning from our conversations. And they say our commitment to privacy is reflected in adherence to strict data protection standards, including the compliance with relevant regulations such as the GDPR, which is the European Union privacy laws, and the CCPA, which is the California privacy laws, to safeguard user information effectively. So when I read this privacy statement, I see that they do not retain the information, personal information from user interactions. They do not store any information after the conversation ends. The conversations are confidential and not used for any purposes beyond providing immediate responses. So they're not selling the data, they're not training their system on the data. And they're also following the GDPR and CCPA regulations, which is great. So this tool sounds safe. So some key security risks that we want to make sure that we review is that there's the data retention and misuse component. So this is when personal information is shared in a chat, such as addresses or phone numbers, and it could be retained and potentially assessed and used inappropriately due to inefficient deletion policies. So if you have some personal information in there, you put it into the chat, into the AI tool, it may get reused in nefarious ways. There's also the proprietary information leakage. So if you're working on a project and you have working with a confidential information or proprietary code, you do not want to put those into an AI tool because that allows information to be leaked and could be exploited by a competitor to gain a market advantage, but it could also just be another security risk that we do not want to have in there. There's also the data privacy regulations. So we referenced two data privacy regulations in the previous slide with the European Union as well as California, but information shared with a large language model hosted in a different legal jurisdiction might inadvertently violate laws about international data transfer. So you also want to be mindful of where the tools are being stored and created. So how to use AI safely? So you want to be mindful of the personal information. So you don't want to have a lot of personal information out there. And you also want to understand the privacy settings. So that's discussing with and asking the software company exactly what the privacy settings are. You don't want to overshare. So this reminds me of when we first got Facebook and everybody was putting their first and last name, their maiden names, where they went to high school, what year did they graduate from high school, where are they checking in, where are they going, where are they going to college, where do they work? And we were just providing a lot of information on social media when it first started. And I feel like a lot of people are starting to scale that back. And that's really what we want with AI is you do not want to overshare. Anonymize what you can. You also want to think critically and you want to be mindful of understanding the tools that we're using and know that AI is not perfect. So it does still need that human touch and human capability. You want to report any inappropriate content. So if the AI tool is providing you with inappropriate content or some hallucinated responses, you want to report that to the software company because that can help them deter their tool and retrain their tool because there might be something wrong with it. You also want to be cautious of AI generated messages. So this is messages that you receive that you did not go above and beyond to ask it any questions. You should always be the one that's prompting AI to provide the response. AI should not be reaching out to you first. You also don't want to solely rely on AI. Like I said, AI is not perfect. It's created by humans. There's unconscious bias. There's blind spots in the data sets. There's always the issues with prompt engineering that you might not be getting the best prompt. You might be getting hallucinated answers. So you do not want to solely rely on AI. It could be a really great rough draft, but it should not be your final draft. And you also want to stay informed. So staying informed means taking trainings, learning about what is going on in your industry in your field with AI tools, and staying in the know. And that's something that the New York Tech community, as well as ATS, is trying to do for you, is to ensure that you're staying informed and have these opportunities for professional and personal development, as well as fully understanding the tools that are available to you. So a couple more ways that you can secure your digital footprint is you can use anonymization techniques. So before submitting the text for grammar checking, you want to anonymize or alter names, locations, and identifiable details within the document. So you want to make sure that it does not know a lot of information about you, but it knows enough to be able to provide you a response. You want to use hypothetical scenarios or anonymize the content to avoid a context to avoid revealing specific strategies or technologies. You do not need to have a very specific example. You can actually use hypothetical scenarios as well. You want to understand and leverage the privacy policies. So this is where you want to review and understand the updates in the privacy policies of large language model providers. Ask the service provider about the data retention and deletion practices to assess the security of your data. So you saw that I did that with a sample privacy statement, but you want to make sure that you understand fully where your data is going. You can also seek secure alternatives. So for sensitive discussions, opt for platforms that offer end-to-end encryption to ensure that conversations remain confidential. There also are opportunities for you to examine the free version versus the paid version um, of a tool, because sometimes the paid version can provide more of a secure uh, encryption and secure alternate to the free version. So that's something that you may want to also examine is, okay, how do they secure my data? How am I secure with the free version of this tool versus the paid version of the tool? And if you're going to be using the tool a lot, you might as well go with the paid version to keep you safe. Speaking of keeping you safe, so New York Tech, we are trying to keep you safe. So we're currently developing and vetting a process for the use of AI tools. ATS does not currently support the AI functions of these tools, but once they have been vetted, we are here to help. One of the great examples of this is that there's a lot of Office 365 AI tools in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel that we are actually going to be doing trainings on. You want to use the tools at your own risk. So you want to anonymize your prompts when possible. Also, you want to use your personal email address to create the accounts if necessary for these tools. The reason being is your NYIT is actually a way to as a self-identifier, so that the tool actually knows that someone who works or goes to school at NYIT is using the tool. Whereas if you use your Gmail address, it's just another person using Gmail. And you also want to see how long the apps keep your info and what do they do with it. So there are some really great alternatives out there for the keeping you safe. So we have 3 case studies on the use of AI. One of them is in Georgia State University, University of Oxford, and the University of Southern California. So for Georgia State University's use of predictive analysis, so the background for this is that they wanted to implement a predictive analytics system to improve student success and retention rates. So, what they did is they used an AI application to analyze historical data, including student demographics, academic performance, and engagement metrics. Based on this analysis, the system identifies students at risk of dropping out and provide personalized interventions to support their academic process. So they wanted to do a intervention rather than they want to be more proactive with the students at risk than reactive. The result was that the university reported a 21% increase in graduation rates over 6 years, with particularly notable gains among minority and low income students. So it was successful. So, Georgia State University successfully addressed retention challenges, improved outcomes with a diverse student population by leveraging the AI powered predictive analysis. So, for the second case study is University of Oxford's collaboration with IBM Watson. Essentially, the background is that University of Oxford partnered with IBM Watson to enhance research capabilities and accelerate scientific discovery. They wanted to use AI to advance analytics and natural language processing capabilities. And this system helped automate literature reviews, analyze complex data sets, and generate insights from research findings. And what they found is that the result was successful because the University of Oxford was able to streamline the research process and gain deeper insights into their respective fields. The AI powered tools facilitated faster decision making and improved quality of research outputs. So, by harnessing the capabilities of IBM Watson, the university was able to enhance its research capabilities and contribute to breakthroughs in various disciplines, including healthcare science, environmental science, and technology faster. So, they removed the barriers that that the researchers needed in order to be successful and prominent and contribute to the breakthroughs in their fields. The third case study is the University of Southern California's adoption of Workday AI solutions. So they implemented Workday's AI-powered solutions to optimize administrative operations, enhance decision-making processes. So they were really interested in seeing the workforce planning, financial management, and student admissions. And they utilized predictive modeling to forecast enrollment trends, automate admissions workflows, as well as optimize resource allocation. What's really great about this is that they were able to achieve greater efficiency and effectiveness in managing its operations. The university also improved its ability to anticipate and address challenges relating to staffing, budget, and student recruitment. So they made data-driven decisions and allocated resources more strategically. And the AI-powered tools contributed to enhanced productivity and cost savings and overall institutional performance.